Per 9000's game room.
Okay, so I'm here to talk about Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. And one of the first things to get out of the way is that I really like Nuts and Bolts. In fact, I think I'd go so far as to say I love it. I know it's a popular game to hate, and it seems to attract almost a never-ending stream of venom, to the degree that it's become pretty much cool to hate on it. I can even understand a bit of this hate. After all, it's a sequel which is very different to its predecessors, when most people really wanted more of the same. People also feel that some of the comments made in the game's opening are kind of insulting to fans of the original games, but I don't really see it like that myself. For me, the opening, with Banjo and Kazooie having gotten fat and out of shape, is really kind of funny. I mean, think about it, most games with sequels are kind of like a TV show, in which no matter what happens, the status quo is always re-established at the end of a story or the start of a new episode. Think about The Simpsons, for example. Yes, they go on crazy adventures and become rich or adopt an elephant, but most of these changes never last. The universe always seems to default to a state where the characters never really age, never change. If you pick up a Mario game, be it the first game or the most recent game, Mario looks more or less the same. Well, apart from the difference in graphical fidelity at least. Nuts and Bolts with the whole fat joke basically was poking fun at this. Instead of 6 years having passed in the real world but time having stood still in Banjo's world, they decided to make a joke that since saving the world, Banjo had sat around eating and doing nothing because there was no adventures to go on. It might not be the funniest joke in the world, but it got a small laugh out of me, and I think the haters like to read too much into this sort of thing. Then there's a whole point where a character in the game basically tells you that no one wants a platformer anymore, they want to shoot things. People seem to view this as the game's producer saying, look, we know what's best for you, we will give you what we think is best for you, and you can shut up and like it. I never personally took it this way at all. I took it more as a comment on the state of the video game world and how it had changed. Growing up for me, yeah, sure, there were games where you could shoot and kill aliens, but there was so much more than that. Cute platformers had been popular, it had been cool to like Mario and Sonic, and before that there'd been some weird games on the spectrum where you could control a man who just wanted to hide from his wife, or a game where you controlled a music group's management, even a game where you controlled a plumber trying to unblock pipes before they flooded their contents everywhere. Rare has been around a long time, both as Rare and as Ultimate play the game. They'd seen this change, they'd felt it happening around them, and this was simply them commenting on it. There's an argument made that it was Microsoft who forced Rare to make Nuts and Bolts a car-based game as opposed to a traditional platformer, but even if that's true, this still stands. It's someone or a group of writers within Rare making a point, possibly even poking fun at those above them in control. I think most of the backlash against this game is from people who simply just wanted more of the same. And while I also would have been happy with more of the same, I really like what we got. I remember playing Nuts and Bolts for the first time and really loving the building aspect to it. It was like Lego, basically. The vehicles you build can be built freely by the player from over 1,600 different components, including body panels, engines, wheels, wings, propellers, weapons, fuel, ammo containers. Basically, you're met with various challenges and you build the vehicle you think you'll need to succeed. There's no one right answer. The vehicle you build to do your task might be very different from the one I build, and this is half of the fun. The physics engine allows the vehicles to behave in relation to how they are built. The sense of weight is somewhat exaggerated, but you know if you put more armour on a vehicle it will affect how it moves. If you don't remember to balance the weight on either side, then this is going to cause problems. You can construct vehicles, paint them, save them, and come back to them later and edit them and change them, and you're always unlocking new parts. So maybe you made a bike and it was fast but too slippy. So easy, you load it back up, you get the blueprint and you add the new grip wheels to it, problem solved. It's kind of funny that, you know, now we're in a world of things like Minecraft and people get such fun from building and I'll spend hours and hours at it, and yet this game was offering something very much on that sort of level. Now, I do think the problem is that this game was called Banjo-Kazooie. If this game had featured different characters or been called something else, I think it could have been very, very popular. Because I'm not going to say it was the first one in the curve of create your own thing, but it was definitely ahead of a lot of the pack. So I'd strongly recommend that you give Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts another try. Come at it with a fresh perspective as being more of a fun building tool case. Okay, that's Kerr9000 signing off saying keep on gaming.